Hello guys and welcome to a channel update. I don't do these nearly often enough. I don't know why. I just find it difficult to think about doing them properly. And then of course I have to prepare a bit, and there's not always also something really much to talk about. For example, now I'm currently playing through The Witcher 3 and Hades, which are both relatively long games, I guess. Especially The Witcher, of course. Hades can be as long as you want it to be. But yeah, there's not too much change going on because I currently can't deal with more than 2 games at a time. So if I could do 3 or 4, like some people who, I don't know how they do it, but trying to keep some sort of life balance, work-life balance. But yeah, like if you can do a lot of games and keep those going, that's very exciting. Especially as you get bigger, you know, I feel it's more easy for people to be able to do that, like do a lot of looking at new, smaller games. Like you see a lot of these channels doing that type of content, and it's not something that I've ever done, though could be fun. I just don't have any sort of time like that. After a full-time job, wanting to spend time with my family and of course play some games, that's, you know, kind of what I do. Outside of what I record, there's not too much I actually tend to play. I try and play here and there a little bit. Like I've been playing some Loop Hero. That was a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with that one. Didn't think it would make for a good video though, so there's that. Like it's a little repetitive, a little slow. Not too much to comment on. Like there's some games are just not, in my mind, very entertaining to watch. Whereas some others I find, personally at least, completely fascinating, like Age of Empires 2. Of course, a fantastic game back in its day, and same still now. So to me, that's just one of those games which everybody has their own niche games, or not even niche, that they love to see and can see forever. But some just, I don't know, they just don't work. They're not entertaining. And if you're not entertaining, you're wasting everybody's time, really. Unless it's for this one person who loves it. All right, so it's summer. It's summer and it's COVID, right? So the way that I'm hoping this will go is that I will be able to actually go and nobody will get sick, and I will be able to go on holiday for 3 weeks. That's the goal. We have a holiday plan to basically drive from the Netherlands down to south of France and go see that whole Côte d'Azur region, as well as a lot of Provence. Just enjoy the, you know, south of France countryside, and also the beaches and the cities all along there. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful, and we've been wanting to do that for some years, so I really hope this year will be the year. So why am I sharing this is because, of course, I can't, you know, be on holiday and enjoying all of the French wine and, you know, everything that's there, and all the hikes and everything, and record at the same time. That's just not feasible. So what I'll be doing is, and have already started doing, to be fair, I have been recording a bunch of videos ahead of time because, well, it's, you know, we'll be away for 3 weeks. And then the days before that we'll be busy, you know, finishing things off either for work and also making sure that we have everything packed and prepared and that sort of thing. So that'll all be taking up a lot of time as well. Because, you know, like going for a weekend somewhere, super easy. Just take some clothing and you're done. Go for a week or 2, different. 3 weeks, again, different. Takes much more preparation. So because of that, I've started pre-recording well in advance. At this point, I've actually done the recording for Hades that I want to do. Again, I've played a little bit after that, to be fair, because it's just such a great game. But again, there's many other great games I also want to see, and I'll also actually show on on the channel, because I feel playing one game for a long time can get very stale, especially since it'll be one video on one game a week, which I still think playing 2 games at the same time, one video on each, is the best way to do it, because if I play one game for 2 videos a week, then maybe it's better, but I feel it's even less variation. But let me know what you think, because maybe I'm wrong that way, and maybe I should just try it at some point. But I feel that would be worse. But it just feels like also because of that, I want to play shorter games, not 50, 60-hour games, because, well, it'll just take 2 years, now 1 year, to actually go through. So those are some of the decisions that I'm always trying to make. So as I said, I will be playing through The Witcher for a long time, which is fantastic. That game is so much fun. So I've finished Hades, which brings me on to, there's actually a second screen, games which are on my radar. So one of those is Control, one of the game, or the newest game, as far as I know, as of this recording, by the people who also did, it's Remedy, I believe. Yeah, Remedy Studios, who did Alan Wake, which was a game I very much enjoyed. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. The action looks very Remedy-like, if that makes sense. Like, it reminded me of Alan Wake, to be fair, somehow. I feel like very agile, mobile, great feel. And apparently the storyline is apparently pretty good. So that is one that's been on my radar. Then there is Kentucky Route Zero, a game I actually picked up and tried many years ago. And it's different. Let's say it's very different. And now it's actually complete. And they've built it over 6 years, I believe. And apparently every chapter, or, it's like, I forget the term that they use, but every part of it is made very differently. And as technology also progressed, or their engine, or I don't know what they did, but the game also looks completely different, in a different style. And it's a completely fascinating game from what I've seen, because it starts off making some sort of choices on characters, but you're not necessarily playing as much as like you're choosing some of the things for a character, and then based on the decisions you've made, you see the story unfold, which sounds absolutely fascinating. So, and I feel not a lot of people have heard of it, which makes me really want to showcase that. So I as of this recording, I think that's going to be the next game I want to record, but I say such things sometimes, and when it comes down to it, I'll just see whatever I feel like at the moment I start recording. But for now, I think Kentucky Route Zero is a very strong contender. Another was actually suggested on the previous channel update I did, which was the Hyperlight Drifter, which I, at that point, had never heard of, and it seems a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks for suggesting that. I really should have looked up who suggested that to me, but that seems great. So definitely on the list. Another is Jalopy, I assume it should be said. Kind of an indie game, kind of puzzle. You're supposed to drive somewhere in a really broken down kind of car, and you're supposed to just scrounge your way through and make sure your car survives. It just seemed kind of fascinating. I believe it's very short, which kind of fits in what I just described as well, just to keep the content fresh. But it's one of these games that I think has been around for quite some years, and I've seen it a couple of times and kind of always looked at it like, that seems kind of weird and different. So I just want to try it for myself, see how it is. Another one is Horus, a very difficult platformer from what I remember, which is entirely unique in what it does and sets out to be. I believe it also has a lot of other games or game sections like built into it, and it's incredibly creative from what I remember seeing of it. which, yeah, definitely sign me up. Difficult platforming, not necessarily my thing, but it's supposed to be still doable. But there might be some rage quitting. But it just seems so creative, and I really want to show these lesser known games which are not AAA. And I have that feeling, especially after playing both Hades and The Witcher 3, which are, some of the most renowned games of the last couple of years. So I really feel like I should play some of these smaller indie games, which are fantastic and very unique. So another one which just released, and probably not very indie, but is Griftlands, because it just released, at least the full 1.0 release. It's been out in early access for a couple of years, I believe. But it's from, I believe, the same makers of Slay the Spire and some other games, which I forget. It's Clay, that's what they're called. But it seems to be a very story-based roguelike deck-building game. Like Slay the Spire is really just what it shouts to me. But it seems like so much fun, because it's story-based, and I don't know if you can actually fail it has both a combat mechanic and also persuasion, which seems really interesting. And I don't even know if you can fail the persuasion, because that will change how the storyline goes. But it just seemed like a lot of fun and seemed super polished. So that's another one. There's a lot of games on this list, guys. There's also some scooter just outside being super loud. I hope it doesn't show up on the recording, but there's not much I can do about him. Then there's Metro Exodus. After having played Metro 2033, and also I read those books, that playing another Metro game has been something that I've been thinking about for a while. And Exodus has very good reviews, and seems to take the Metro feeling into a little tiny bit of a open world-ish setting, but it has very good reviews, and it's a Metro game, and it retains the feeling and atmosphere of it, which sign me up, because I really, really enjoyed Metro 2033 at the time. And then, of course, the something else category is again like the not Jalopy. The Hyper Light Drifter was suggested by one of you, which is great, because that game looks like a lot of fun, and I will definitely play that at some point in the not too far future, I hope. So yeah, if there's something if there's a game you think I would really enjoy, or which should be highlighted, I'm also realizing that there's been a lot of or a big lack of puzzle games, point-and-click adventures. There's not been that many, and there's not been that many that I'm aware of, I should say. It's not a huge genre anymore, but there was one. There is no game, but I ended up watching Day 9, actually. Very fun YouTuber. I like his style, he's very positive. But I watched him play through it, and I was having a lot of fun with that. Watching that during work, actually. Don't tell anyone. But that was one that, could have definitely been one that I could have played. I don't know of any other ones which are kind of on that level, which I really would want to play. But I should try and find more, because it's been a long time since I played one. So there's also one more thing, which is this. Memberships. So I'm going to be going with memberships. And this is something that, of course, you don't have to. I feel kind of weird asking. It's not asking. It's basically asking for support. And I've always thought, no, I shouldn't do this. That it's not the primary reason, of course, why you have a YouTube channel, because for me it's all about learning about new games, which I hadn't, and building a community over time and seeing the same people comment over years. Like, that's just so much fun. it's just so cool to see like a name just pop up in the comments. It's like, yeah, I remember like what, 8 years ago you were commenting as well, and you were watching the videos, and we're just having fun that way. That's great. That's what it's about. So I've never really thought about doing something like this, but lately, the last couple of years probably, with the whole Patreon thing, everybody started creating that. I never really liked that. Also, it's one more platform to manage essentially. There was the time, of course, when you were trying to put gameplay videos on Google TV was it called? I forget what it was called. And then there was Blip.tv. That was a thing. And there was Vimeo for a while. And now there's just YouTube. And it really, to me, like if I'm going to do something like this, I want to have one platform to manage because it's just so much simpler and more straightforward. So I've always wanted to keep my videos ad-free, video ad-free. So, that also really just means that there's really not a lot of ad revenue coming from that. It's like around €1 a month is what it gives me, which doesn't get paid out ever, essentially. So I've received a couple of like mentions from various people over time that they would like to, help out, even if it's just a little bit, because they tend to watch all of the videos, so they feel they, get a lot of content for free, essentially. So I figure, hey, I can set that up if you really feel like you want to support the videos, and I'll use this money to either buy games or maybe a different microphone or sound padding, because this room currently has nothing because it's just my home office. But it's one of the things that maybe I should do, less echo, which would be better for the sound quality. Or maybe I should, eventually go the route of using a webcam. I don't think so, but that would be something I would consider because all of that stuff is expensive as well. So yeah, everything that, if you feel like doing it, thanks a lot. And all of that will go towards videos themselves and different games, etc. So I'm just setting it up. No pressure. It's not like I can exert any pressure for that matter. But I basically set up 3 tiers. One is just called helping out, $1.99 a month. Feel better about using AdBlock. Again, if you ever see video ads, actually let me know, because YouTube does sometimes change their settings, which they really shouldn't. Because at some point, some months ago, they forced new settings which enabled video ads, which I didn't want and didn't know. So I disabled it all. So everything should be video ad free, at least from my point of control, I should say. So there's this one. Then I created 2 more tiers. One is just the supporter. I got to give it some sort of name, right? So I will also be setting up some polls on like decisions within games. Should I go one way or another? So these will definitely be some games that I will be just recording and uploading right away, essentially once a week, maybe 1 week in advance, depending on what's happening in real life. And also polls on next games. So I really want to take that feedback of what people who are really supporting, like what they want to see, which probably is mostly the same with what everyone wants to see, right? And then just because if you really feel like supporting and you watch my videos more than like, I don't know, Netflix or something like that, then you can do this, but I really expect nobody to do that. That's me. So that's the big update. I really hope that you guys are all safe and good and you're able to go on some sort of holiday, because that's actually the primary topic of the video. You can leave comments, of course, but know that until the end of July, basically, or mid-July, I should say, it's all been pre-recorded. Let's say this at the start of June to mid-June, just a couple of weeks ahead, just to cover that time. because I don't want the content to stop. Like, I want it to be a very stable thing where the videos are coming every Wednesday and Saturday consistently. You can count on it. And I think that's important. So you can kind of schedule when you want to watch them and when they will be there. So that to me is really important, and that's why I'm recording it all ahead of time. So that's the important thing. And again, if you actually end up helping out by setting up a membership, I'll really, really appreciate it. And I will also start taking into account what I will be upgrading it on next. If it should be a better microphone or, sound cushioning, like get all that audio set up, because this room is a tiny bit echoey. There's not much here other than a desk and some bookshelves behind me. But hey, we're work in progress. All right, that's the big news. And I'm going to be playing some more Witcher very soon, which I'm looking forward to a lot, because I just went nuts with the Hades videos, which is so much fun. And now it's time to play a lot of The Witcher, which is also excellent. All right, I will try to do some sort of update more often, because I think it's actually kind of good. So maybe I'll do it once a quarter. I'll see. I shouldn't be saying anything like that, because I might not stick to it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It doesn't feel right. It's not a game. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. See you guys next time. See you, dudes.